Arkansas is not playing with y'all boys. They said you need to be able to read and write if you're going to be driving on these streets. So I got a video here from my mans. He basically saying that I guess the way stops where they would do normal way ups, they have you read a little questionnaire, and if you fail that mug, well, you in some trouble. So I'm gonna let him explain it to you. This is Deontay from Inselbergmedia. We're gonna jump right into it.
Couldn't believe it. Going through Arkansas, I thought it was a joke. Got stopped at the way station in Arkansas and was handed a piece of paper, and it says, "Can you read and write English?" I said, "Yes, sir, I sure can." He goes, "Can you read this?" So I read it to myself, and I was like, okay. I started handing it back. He goes, no, read it out loud for me. So I read it out loud for him, and it's short and sweet, no problem. He goes, "Now, can you write this for me on this paper?" And I did, and there was a whole bunch of people that had already written on it. And I was actually witnessing people in handcuffs that had been pulled in. And I was like, "What's going on?" He goes, "Oh,
I'll tell you what's going on. They're looking for illegals, buddy. You know how many people out here driving these trucks illegally? Not even illegal immigrants. They're looking for illegal drivers and illegal immigrants. This is all one big thing, unfortunately. There's plenty of people who should not be driving. I'm going to get into this after the video. Hold on.
We've come across now that if you cannot read or write in English, that it's a $5,000 fine. And if you have a company in Arkansas that employs people that can't read or write in English, it's a $10,000 fine paid on the spot. If you cannot pay it, you're automatically arrested and lose your license. What a shocker.
I don't know why this guy trying to play like he the victim of something. Wouldn't you want people on the road who can actually read the signs, who can actually follow the laws, who have read the laws, who understand the consequences of not following the laws? Here's the big thing, right? So I'm a professional driver. I drove a limousine style vehicle. I drove Cadillac Escalades. I drove Navigators. And I drove at the highest, it would be a 12-passenger Sprinter van, which all under Michigan law is you can drive all that under a chauffeur's license. Now, I never went and got the Class B license because that only gave me the ability to drive above 12 passengers up to 40 passengers, basically like the 40 passenger bus. If you've ever been on one, it's like a giant party bus. That's the only thing that would have granted me for my job. That wasn't going to be increasing my pay. I actually built out a clientele with using the small cars, and I became one of the few people in our fleet who pretty much specialized in using the small cars. So I got all of those rides, and I had my own clients. I made my own money doing it just that way. So a Class B license was something that I never went for. But let me tell you how many times I was offered it for the cheap, for the low, and for the guaranteed price of you will get the job, basically. You will get the job, you will get the license. There will be no issues. So I actually have no sympathy for this. I know just how many people are scammed into the system because of how bad truck drivers, they needed them so bad over the pandemic that they were allowing anybody through without really checking them properly, without making them take the test, supervised, or, did they actually read and pass the test? These tests are made for people who are just above like a high school graduation. Basically, all you need to be able to do is graduate high school and you could take one of these tests. So if you can't read and write basic English on a piece of paper, you probably should be arrested for driving, first off. But two, this is mainly to snuff out companies that hire illegal people with bad licenses, or they had one before and had it taken from them, or people who are just not cleared to do this job at all just because of how desperate they need that money. Let me tell you, these loads are not cheap, and they're paying top dollar to get them delivered from one place to another. And if you can do it without getting caught, people are going to take that risk. I don't know about anywhere else. Arkansas might just be one of the states that's implementing this first, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like this in Michigan pretty soon here, honestly. Let me just jump into the comments, though, because like I said, I don't feel no sympathy for this. Watching from Australia, man, the U.S. has really lost its way. The funny part is how many people are defending the fact that we should have illiterate drivers or be allowing illegals to work in our country without proper licensing. Because if any of these accidents happen, truck flip over or something like that, the insurance will try their best to get out of the situation of paying for it, or at least paying for things that they feel like they're not responsible for, and they will turn that dollar back on the company that hired the person. Or I can't even imagine them doing this with an LLC. They would have to be working under somebody to basically sponsor them through the process. But yeah, this is crazy. Imagine if I went to Mexico to work in the trades and didn't know any Spanish. This is true. If you can't read and write English, then you shouldn't be driving a commercial vehicle. You put lives on the line. You put lives at risk. And end of story. Has nothing to do with being an illegal or to the general public. Yeah, like I said, it's catching two birds with one stone. You're catching people who are improperly using the system, who are American, i.e., the business owners who allow these people to drive the vehicles unlicensed, and also people who've just been skating underneath the system. A lot of trucks have to drive through Arkansas, so it's not just like their state drivers are going to be getting people from all around the country. So be careful. Bootlickers justifying this are insane. People who do not work with their hands commenting on people working with their hands illegally, not with the proper licensing, who could get other people killed on the road. All of us use the highways every day and we see these accidents day in, day out. But you have no remorse for the family who's going to lose their daughter or their son. Listen, I went to Georgia Southern. We lost 4 nurses to a truck driver watching on his phone. And this dude was licensed. And it was a dude watching it on his phone, crush those girls between 2 vehicles, him coming behind them, and they had no chance, basically. I think one person survived, and it was like 2 sets of cars, and one person survived the whole ordeal from that group. They were on their last trip to nursing school before they got out with graduation. I think it was their last like practicum or whatever they have to do. It was insane, man. It was massive vigil at our school. Everyone knew these girls. They were well known around the school, and they lost their lives because the truck driver wasn't paying attention. You telling me if we could prevent that by taking unlicensed, uninsured people off of the road, people who should not be in the system? You cannot pass the CDL test without being able to read or write. It's impossible. This is crazy considering 79% of the US adults are considered illiterate, while 21 struggle with basic reading tasks, with 54% reading below a 6th grade level. I don't know where this person's getting these statistics from, but I'm gonna tell you right now, most people are statistically illiterate. You can take any statistics and flip them on top of their head and say whatever it is you need it to say. So don't get it twisted. A lot of people are illiterate in a lot of things. It's not just being able to read or write. It's can you comprehend the information in front of you? That's the actual question. If you can't start by reading basic English, then how can I expect this person to follow the laws on the road? Stupid. Trump can't read or write either. Lock him up. But he made it the president and you didn't. Too bad you in the comments. Anyway, I'm not even going to go on and on about this. This is a really crazy story. I just want to jump on TikTok and see some more reactions.
So y'all, there was a man who's a truck driver who just got online stating that basically they're stopping all trucks in Arkansas at the way station.
Oh, let me stop that right there. She need to be arrested. She need to be fined, arrested with all of them. She can't even say the damn state right. I said Arkansas at the beginning. I actually go around saying that as a joke, but maybe she's saying it as a joke. I don't know. But she'd be one of the people getting locked up, by the way. I can't believe how many people are coming out to defend this. And it looks like a lot of people from the comforts of their home. This is really, really big news. The fact that Arkansas is the one who stepped up to do this. I can't wait to see more states implement something like this. I think we do need to have tests like this for people who are driving literal weapons of mass destruction on the road. At any time, they can take this off-road and hurt a lot of people. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that's if you can't read or write, you are liable to do this, but it takes one less of those chances off of the road. And next thing we need to do is hit the drunk drivers and the people distracted by pornography. So I'm all about it. Anyway, this is Deontay from Inselbergmedia. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if I'm right or wrong. Like, subscribe, and share the video if you're enjoying the content. If you made it this far, you may as well subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.